Alright, boyos. I came across Wes Watson back when he first started taking YouTube by storm, over a year ago with his channel GP, Penitentiary Life. Some background info on Wes. He spent 10 years in general population in California prisons. The general population in California is naturally racially segregated, and if you want to survive, you have to join and serve your racial group, which is what Wes did from the beginning of his sentence. The primary focus of his YouTube channel is prison stories and life motivation. His general message is a positive and generic one: stop being lazy, get swole, and take accountability. But ultimately, and not surprisingly, as it always seems to be in the case of Western men, Wes's seemingly life-affirming message is actually permeated by a very toxic and life-denying, gynocentric zeitgeist. Now, almost 1 year after first watching it, I'm finally sharing with you one particular story of his that really struck a chord with me.
Now, in the fucking penitentiary, like I said, respect is everything. A white man in the penitentiary will never disrespect a female. If a female walks in the building, it doesn't matter if it's a CO, it doesn't matter if it's a nurse, it doesn't matter if it's a fucking counselor, a white man will never stare at that woman in a disrespectful manner and not let her live her motherfucking life. In fact, if we're in the cells and I see a woman walk on a tier, I'm automatically staring at every white cell out of my window.
Every white cell, boyos. It's over for white cells.
To see how he reacts. To see his fucking reaction to that woman walking on the tier. And if he has a predatorial reaction, you best believe he's getting checked for that shit. I'm wondering why he can't let her live her life.
That's right, boyos. Sex-starved white battle cucks, battle pigeons, are policing each other and castrating each other and emasculating each other in prison. You can rest assured that all the low inhibition, high testosterone Tyrones and all the Huans are not only catcalling and ogling that wild cunny, walking around on prison grounds goading them with its presence, but mocking any man in their racial group that doesn't, for it's the only natural thing to do. What is that wild cunny even doing in prisons? It shouldn't even fucking be there. Yet it's there, and you, sex-starved white cell, are not even allowed to look at it, regardless of how it's dressed, regardless of when you last touched and smelled a woman, regardless of everything. And if you do look at it, the gynocentric Aryan Pigeonhood, which is predominantly of Anglo-Saxon and Germanic descent, will punish you, because that is the toxic life-denying zeitgeist that over 1,000 years of Christ insanity, in combination with the inherent gynocentrism and romanticism that is to be found in the northern European races, that is the toxic life-denying zeitgeist that has been created and that is being enforced, not by sleuths, but by battle cucks. Never forget that it was the Germans who spearheaded the Romantic movement. The hero, the white knight, who valiantly battles any foe, man or beast or dragon, to rescue the attention whore in distress, and or sacrifice himself for his glorious nation, which belongs to aristocratic and banking dynasties, of course. And all the other European battle cucks energetically followed in the footsteps of the Germans in a desperate amogging attempt to see who could become the lowliest and most ignoble and servile house negro of them all. And here's another clip from an interview with Wes Watson to truly drive the point home.
Story, my boy did some time and he said he's over 40 years old and he rolled with the white boys, and I guess, I don't know if this is true, but he said after 40 you're considered an OG and you're allowed to stay out of certain politics because you're a certain age. So he had the right to say yes or no to getting involved in some shit. Guy comes in, they looked at his paperwork and they saw that he was like a sexual predator. So they fucked this dude up, beat the shit out of him. My boy said, "No, I'm cool, I'm passing on this one, you guys handle your shit." Found out later the dude took a piss behind a dumpster. So I always tell my friends, don't take a piss behind a dumpster because you might go to jail with that fucking paperwork that says you're whipping your dick out in public. Like you say, don't be that guy that gets in a bar fight and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're in the system and your whole life will take a different trajectory.
I've told people that's 100% that if you get an indecent exposure act, you're done.
That's behind a dumpster.
That's typically like being a fucking chomo, rapist, or whatever. The most least fucking respected and highly untolerated things in the system. You're done.
You're done.
You see that charge, you're fucking done.
Now, California...
Who makes those rules, boyos? Not the bankers, not the government, not the prison officials or prison guards, not other gangs, only the Aryan Pigeonhood. If the Aryan Pigeonhood sees in your paperwork meaning your files, your offense, your crime, what you're in for, if the Aryan Pigeonhood sees that you are in for indecent exposure, you're done. It doesn't matter if you were pissing behind a dumpster, because maybe, just maybe, you were flashing your sacred phallus to some drunken, half-naked, unescorted coon dumpsters. And the Aryan Pigeonhood can't tolerate such blatant misogyny, such blatant sexual harassment, such blatant toxic masculinity. Can't have that. You're basically a chomo, a child molester at that point, and you will be taken out like the trash that you are. So up then, 1 million young German plebs, and go marching into Russia in Operation Barbarossa to be cannon fodder, to freeze to death, or to simply disappear in the gulags, as though you never existed. Also, Eva Braun can get her vanity shots and attention whore half naked in her bikini, and do yoga poses for the camera. Yes, that is her. Like a 2020s vegan Twitch thought. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. And so Hitler can continue to worship her and pedestalize her. What's the difference between this and this, boyos? What's the difference between this and this? There's no difference. There's no difference at all. So up then, young German plebs, and go marching, go goose-stepping forth to be cannon fodder. Also Hermine and Freya and Bertha and Gretel from the Nazi League of German Maidens can have their proto-Instagram moments. Also, prime sleuths with full agency and the power of choice and refusal can walk around town half naked, sexually harassing every man in their path with impunity. And take note of their little uniforms. Same ones right here. How do these differ from what our gym thoughts wear today? They don't differ at all. Not at all. So up then, young German plebs. Also Helga Rapinoe, and whichever other liberated Aryan sleuth that feels the need can continue LARPing as professional athletes. Bravo, Helga. Bravo. Wow. 10 meters. Amazing. Amazing. Up then, young German plebs. Also, the coeducational gynocratic tyranny can continue flourishing, and untouchable half-naked power-tripping sleuths can continue turning vulnerable young men's brains into mush. And also House Negro Sven. Right, here he is. Here he is, Sven. Our favorite House Negro. Can keep wage slaving and cannon foddering in order to make his consumerist massa Hilda just a little bit happy, at least temporarily, by buying a new Volkswagen. And yes, this is a Volkswagen ad from Nazi Germany. So that Hilda, in turn, can be a little less stressed and proceed to more effectively pump out more wage slaving cannon fodder House Negro juniors. And this This is a Volkswagen ad from the early 1960s, after the start of the so-called sexual revolution that tradcucks despise so much. Except there was no sexual revolution in the 1960s, as there is no difference between this ad from the 1960s and these pictures from Nazi Germany. No. The real sexual revolution happened 1700 years ago, when the Roman Empire adopted gynocentric Christ insanity, a religion that revolutionized sex by enforcing monogamy on men and demonizing male sexuality. And it ended 1,000 years ago, when the last remaining European regions were Christianized. What you see here is the only logical conclusion, the final product of the slave morality, egalitarianism, and gynocentrism ushered in by Christ insanity and its valiant white knights of the Aryan Pigeonhood.